Okay, well, Nimesh, what are you going to talk about today?
Well, Sonia, selling is always a dilemma, right? We don't know when to sell. And that's a dilemma for the biggest owner, which is Government of India. But I'll tell you, government has done a good thing. They've timed it very well as far as the offer for sale is concerned. Why I'm saying this, let me just go to the wall and explain. I have the data backing it as well. So just look at what government has done in terms of OFS in FY23. They've looked at timing it very nicely. In this year, they've done 5 OFSs, of which all have given positive returns post the OFS. That's a big that's a big thing that, they've not given negative returns after the OFS. So look at the first stock. The stock of the week this week was Hudco. The government decided to sell 7% stake in Hudco via OFS. They launched the OFS this week. The offer price was at 79. Allotment also happened at 79 rupees. The current price is just 2 days old, so we can't read into the performance. But currently trading at 70 odd. Need to see how the stock performs going forward. But going into the OFS, the stock had already rallied 16%, almost 60% in the last 3 months. No, this is the Hudco. Now look at the first stock, the recent name which got where the government did an OFS, which is SJVN. Now, SJVN, the government sold close to 5% stake in September 23. The offer price was 69. The allotment was also happened at 69, and the current price is around 75. So the post OFS, the stock has given a 9% return. But going into the OFS, the stock had rallied 75%. After a 75% return, the government did OFS, and after that, the stock has still given a 10% positive return. That is SJVN. Look at the second stock now, RVNL. In RVNL, the government did a OFS in July of 2023. They sold 5.6% stake. The floor price was 119. The allotment, in fact, happened at a higher price, which was 121. And the current price right now is 170. So the stock, after the OFS, has given close to 40% return. And heading into the OFS, 3 months before the OFS, the stock had rallied close to 22%. So even in RVNL's case, there has been a positive return after government diluting 5% odd stake via OFS. The third stock on my list is Coal India. In Coal India, look at what the government has done. They sold 3% stake in June of 2023. The floor price was 225. The allotment happened at a marginal premium, which is around 226. The current market price is close to 320. It means a 41% return after the OFS, what Coal India has delivered in the last 3-4 months. Going into the OFS, just 3 months prior to the OFS, the stock had rallied 10%. So even after a 10% move, there has been a 40% up move in Coal India as well after the OFS was done. Look at what happened to the other stock, which is HAL. This is very interesting. This was the third OFS from the government. They did an OFS in March of 2023. They sold 3.5% stake. The floor price adjust to the adjustments was 1225, and current market price is close to 2,000 rupees, which means even HAL after the OFS has given a 60% return in the last 6-7 months. Going into the OFS, the stock was actually flat, just 2% return. But the key line is that post the OFS, most of the government companies had delivered positive returns. Now, as far as Hudco is concerned, I started with Hudco. The fact is, let's look at Hudco because we don't know how the stock is going to react and how the stock will perform. But for Hudco, the big trigger is the change of guard. They've just appointed a new MD and CEO who's taken charge at Hudco. Now, after the OFS, need to see how the stock performs. But generally, we've seen in the past that the change in management has led to a re-rating as well. The OFS is done, the new management is appointed, so need to see whether Hudco also does well. But the bottom line is, post the OFSs, at least in FY23, all the 4 stocks had delivered positive returns.
All right, Nimesh, thanks a lot for that.